Welcome back to Mike's Miniatures, the place for all things mini wargaming. And on today's episode of Warhammer Wednesday, we are going to be painting up my custom Space Marine chapter, the Argent Templars. As you can see by this miniature right here, this is what an Argent Templar basic Space Marine looks like. The silver armor, blue shoulder pads, blue helmet, gun casings can be blue as well, and a lot of gold trim. So without further ado, let's get into painting up this mini. So here's what we do with the mini. We're going to start with the base layer of gunmetal. Gunmetal is what I use for all of my miniatures for the Argent Templars, and it's a great base color. For Citadel paints, you could use like Lead Belcher as its equivalent. I'm not sure what Vallejo is. Maybe it's something similar to Army Painter's gunmetal. But you just slather it all over the body. Take your time. I go through this relatively quickly. This video is obviously speed up a little bit here. I got this model, just so you all know, from visiting my first ever Games Workshop store, which is now just called Warhammer. And they tend to, for anybody who's never been to the store before but is interested in the hobby, they let you pick either a Space Marine or a Age of Sigmar fantasy warrior, depending on which one you want to get into. I obviously like the Space Marines more, so I got this one. Yeah, it's kind of their fun sales pitch with that here. But yeah, this is all you got to do. Be messy with it, because a lot of we're going to add a bunch of other colors here, but this is just kind of the first step with it. Just take your time, use many different coats as you needed, a couple thin coats if necessary, just to get it all nice and covered, and then clean the brush thoroughly, and there you go. Up next then, we're going to just do a little bit of black paint, and black is on the undersuit and on the Power Pack backpack. I leave all the silver details out and about with it, and I use my thumb as a palette here to help get off any excess paint. A lot of my paints are very thin, and I've added water and like a flow improver for them to just help them last a little bit longer for me. So that's why it's very runny and straight from the pot. And then I come around again and do another round of black because it was super duper thin, and just made a second coat of it on top of the backpack. You can see how rich it's starting to get there. And this is my first time ever doing kind of these videos, and it was hard to remember, keep it to where you guys can actually see how I'm doing this. And just get your thin brushes. You can get into the tiny corners like that, and just I check all places, and I end up missing a spot where I wanted it. But the next color is this Calidor Sky. That's where my blue comes from for the chapter. It's a very bright blue, as you can tell, but it just goes on to the shoulder pads, the helmet, and one spot on the knee. And I'm being still kind of careful. You're kind of just painting in between the lines, just like a color by numbers. In this case, it's the trim of the shoulder pad. That's my lines to try to keep it in, and I go right up to the line, and I'm gonna let the gold trim kind of cover up any of the mistakes I make if I overspill that way for you. And we go right onto the helmet. Now these Mark 10 helmets have the little beams of metal tubing going up by the mouth. I try to leave those silver, so they kind of shine out. And then right there, just a nice good coat around the circle point of the knee. And it's there, if you'll notice, I'm supposed to have the other knee black, and it would be not too long here in this video that I realize, I need to do black, but I got the blue open, so let's just do the gun casing. Majority of the guns in my army will have blue gun casing unless they have a plasma weapon, because I like having blue glowing plasma, and blue gets kind of washed out with the blue gun casing, so I do those black. But in this one, not so much. Then here you go, that's when I pull out the black and just do the knee one spot I missed. And this happens to everybody. You miss things sometimes, and it's okay. Just keep on going. From here, now it's Retributor Armor. That's my gold color that I use. And my gold is relatively thinned out, just like, so I like painting it straight from the pot. And you're just going to go right along with the trim. If you're following along at home, I'm sorry that I'm going relatively quick for this. This one, Space Marine, took me, not counting drying time, maybe 15 to 20-ish minutes. And that's mostly because it was late at night and I was tired and didn't want to take the time to really focus. I was kind of going right through this really quickly. Anyway, that's why you can see it's painting up pretty quick as well, even with sped up video. Really tricky area right there when you get close to the vents. But then the chest Aquila, make that gold, shines right out. And then it's right here, I do the eyes. All the eyes on the blue helmets will be yellow gold. And now we have Balthazar gold. This is for anything that's like a flamer or a melta kind of a gun. I like doing this off bronzish color to kind of show that this metal is different because it absorbs a lot more heat. And I just kind of liberally apply that and let it's very thinned out anyway, so I let it just kind of soak into the holes and do the canisters and things like that. Being very careful of the paint I've already done with the silver body armor. Don't let it get in there. Then I grab Bad and Black again because I missed another spot. The little pump action thing right there. I like to have that on all the guns be black right there to kind of show this is where the hand usually grabs. And then it's from here, I realize I need to do the leather bits, so I have Rhinox hide from Citadel, and every single pouch that I can find, or the belt that holds the ammo pouches, just paint it all up. And you can do this with any shoulder straps and things like that for guns and things like that. Thankfully, this mini only has that little bit. Then it's here that we start the wash experience. I use Agrax Earthshade, and this really darkens down all the metals. Known oil can do make it even darker, but I don't want mine to be too dark. Just slather it everywhere, make the model super wet. And this is where it takes the longest time. I let it then just dry after we've applied this liberally throughout the entire model. It's here that we then make it sure that the model really shines by adding shining silver and army painter paint. And I'm just going to go through all the silver bits on the armor that I want to have shiny, and you'll see after the Agrax had made it super dark, look how bright that makes it stand out there. There's a reason why we have the Argent Templars. Argent is a Latin word for silver, so I've literally made my silver Templars the correct silver Templars, not the ones that are the chapter under the Ultramarines. These ones are the Salamander Silver Templars. And you just go over all the areas. Be very careful not to get anything like the gold or the leather or anything like that. And then on the power packs, I like having the details still maintain their silver and their shine, but the casing around the power pack just kind of keep that black. It really makes that black stand out too when you add all this silver. I'm getting it right in that difficult area between the shoulder pad. And you kind of do the painting by number kind of a deal, just kind of keep it within the lines, adding a little bit of space to keep where that wash has settled in the recess. That way it kind of helps outline the panels and the armor plates that you already have, as you can kind of see what I'm doing there with the leg, being careful not to go too far over the inverted lines right there, because we still want it to kind of stand out. Going right up to the blue, but not quite touching it. Same with the feet, you can tell and see the different panels. And just over time, you can see how it makes that dark, dirty metal into a nice shiny. I like having the Marines be shiny like this for my chapter because they're a new chapter, new beginning for me in the Warhammer hobby. So we'll just make them shine really bright. They haven't made their armor dirty and dark yet from use. Get all the way on the feet. And then on the mask, got the little tubings. And all around the helmet. That collar section, see how much brighter that is? Then going around the Aquila, this helps the Aquila stand out too with the gold when you have the silver, bright silver around it. Look at that. So now at this part we just do some more Retributor armor, and then we go over everything that's gold. Don't overwash it here, just kind of leave that dark recesses. And I'm okay with if it splashes a little bit onto the blue, because we're going to fix that in a minute, as you probably saw with that one spot. Just take your time with it. Trim is very difficult. Chaos Space Marine models have a lot more trim than a regular Space Marine, so those of you who play Chaos can probably attest to that. It can be a pain to do that. And I'm not as careful with the eyes. That's a secret I have for the eyes right there. Because when I fix the helmet, it fixes the overspill. And then here we go, back to Calidor Sky. And you saw how the wash made the blue so dark, but then look how bright that makes that. Right back to bright. And the Calidor Sky as a base paint is still super duper thin enough that it allows some color from behind it to shine through. And so having a base coat of a darker blue kind of helps to give it like a pearlescent effect, I've noticed. And so I really love that kind of a blue here. And then don't go all the way up to the gold when you're doing the trim. This just makes it to where it'll come alive, really, with the shading and the recesses there. Alright, now after it's kind of dried a little bit, now we're going to do the chapter symbol. We're going to get some Agrath Thurshade and Pallid Witch Flesh. That's my yellow and white I like to do. And in this case, you just find the center and make a line. And then from there, it's a Jerusalem cross, so it's any kind of a cross is just a big old plus sign. You just kind of find the center, go out, ends on the sides, and that's the main cross of the little Jerusalem, Kingdom of Jerusalem city cross. For those of you who've seen that movie, Kingdom of Heaven, you'd probably recognize that symbol. That's I saw that in that movie when I was a kid. I thought that was kind of a cool symbol. It was different from the Templars and Hospitallers and that. And so just kind of thought, hey, let's do that as I was making my own Space Marine chapter. Why don't we just take that symbol, but we'll tweak the colors a little bit here. And that's what I did. So now the 4 little white crosses have my most detailed brush, and you're just making little plus signs in the quadrants. So start with one line, change my angle, and do the other line. There we go. And then as the paint dries up, you'll have this kind of a mini. And that's my little Argent Templar. I leave the gun's metal to be still kind of dirty from the Agrax Earth shade, because I like it to be different from the body armor, to show that even though the armor's new, the weapons are probably not new for them. And yeah, that's just kind of what we do with that. And I could probably make some decals so that my shoulder chapter symbols on each shoulder will look better, but until then, I do like this freehand style for now, because from the tabletop 3 feet away, I've had some people at my local hobby store like, where'd you get those decals? It's like, I did those hand, and with the rest of the army, and they didn't believe me until they looked. It was like, oh yeah, now I can see they were painted by hand. When you look closer, you can definitely tell, but from far away, it doesn't look half bad. But that's me here with how to paint an Argent Templar. If you have followed along and want to make this your own, or want to paint your own chapter, well, with using similar colors and similar techniques, please do. I'd love to see those if at all possible. You can message me in the comment section or whatnot, and if I'll find ways to reach out to those who connect with me that way. I'd love to see what your work is. But until next time, I've been Mike with Mike's Miniatures. Thank you for joining me on this hobby journey, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.